to 92. Judges David Sutherland and Chris Migliori both score the bout 98 to 91. All three in favor of the winner, the problem child, Jake Paul.
Grateful for now than anything. And no knockouts. Knockouts don't mean nothing. You gotta be able to go the distance. That's fighting.
Everybody has a plan until they get hit. You got hit, and how did it affect you?
I went to plan B. I hit him back.
It's the kind of news that makes you wonder if you're in another reality, yet here we are. I know this is the last thing Tyson supporters wanted to see, but it did happen. Mike Tyson dropped a bombshell after losing to Jake Paul. I can already hear half of you screaming that this fight had to be rigged, while the other half is probably clutching their chests, still processing the trauma of watching the referee lift Jake Paul's hand over Tyson's. However, it's 2024 and strange things are officially the norm. The legendary Mike Tyson, at the age of 58, lost a fight to Jake Paul. And then, just to keep things interesting, he made a post-fight revelation that had everyone's jaws on the floor. We have to do this again.
I haven't did this in 15, 16 years. I'm not a giant, I'm a beginner.
Did he ever hurt you tonight?
Well, listen, he surprised me with the hook. He hit me with a hook, a good hook.
Hurt.
Yes, it did hurt.
And for that reason, the bout that ended a few hours ago at T Stadium wasn't your typical boxing contest, rather. It was the kind of spectacle that left everyone in the globe gasping in shock after months of building up to interminable arguments and expectations. All of this culminated in this fight, which was shown live on Netflix because, well, when a 58-year-old Mike Tyson steps into the ring, even Netflix wants to be part of the drama.
Mike, there's just no appetite for this. It just doesn't make sense. The other thing is Mike having to pull out because of ulcers, like that f***ed it all up. Jake's team's brilliant, so maybe it's a Trojan horse, like I've said before. Hey, just get this across, we'll get the views, and then they're gonna sign 3 fights, some sort of deal, or gets to the UFC. I don't know. I don't see the upside.
The plot was established, and it was straightforward. Tyson, a name that used to give people the chills, was going up against Jake Paul, the man most known for pulling practical jokes on his own family and hawking body spray as if it were a lifeline. Everyone expected Mike to flatten Jake Paul like a pancake in the first few minutes, and Tyson was meant to demolish him without any questions or arguments.
Friday night when I put this man to sleep, so that is pretty dope.
He dreams a lot.
A lot of dreams.
I knew it, they all come true.
This is not gonna come true, young.
However, this is the point at which reality made you chuckle. Jake Paul is the same person who has earned a profession by posting challenges on social media about how many chicken nuggets I can eat while wearing fat suits. Change the plot so that everyone's heads were spinning. Jake did more than just make it through the ring. He landed a vicious knockout punch that caused the unthinkable to occur. Yes, you heard that Mike Tyson was unable to get back up. Iron Mike was placed on the canvas and left there by the human meme Jake Paul.
What did you initially think when you heard that Mike Tyson was going to be getting in the ring with Jake?
I was thinking that Jake Paul was going to be in trouble because, you know, Mike Tyson knows how to throw great body punches, great headshots. And, you know, we just have to see if he's going to do them in the ring. I'm hoping that he'll do that.
Fans all throughout the world were left scratching their eyes as though they were experiencing a collective hallucination after what must have been a reality-breaking, universe-shattering event. It was the kind of scene that left you wondering whether the world had finally gone crazy.
This is a scary, scary man. He's a killer and has all the power still clearly in all the videos, all the sparring that he's showing, dropping his sparring partners. My mom is messaging, she can't even watch Tyson punch. She won't watch it because it scares her.
However, let's take a step back and discuss Jake Paul's reputation, or more precisely, his public image circus. This guy posts videos of himself consuming junk food during his training sessions, which have more in common with before tailgates than with actual sports preparation. Pretending that the thought of jogging laps was a kind of torment from the Middle Ages.
I have big plans and I'm continuing to, again, do the impossible and show people what I'm capable of. And they chalk up what I've done to fights being rigged. Still, when he posts on his Instagram looking like a killer.
He was not taken seriously by anyone. He was written off by the boxing purist as a joke. Everyone believed that Jake Paul was a joke rather than a contender, and if you had the audacity to imply that he could actually fight, you would likely be laughed out of any serious boxing discourse.
It used to bother me. That used to bother me because I was like, no, I'm working so hard, can't you people see? But now I take it as a compliment because the human peon brain of the 99% can't even comprehend
Can't even get it.
how good I've gotten and what I'm accomplishing in this world.
However, beneath the layers of social media silliness, Jake Paul was plotting something so cunning that you almost have to appreciate it. He kept saying he would shock the world, but no one listened, so why would they? After all, this was Jake Paul.
He's not going to win. I think he thinks this is going to be a very easy night. It's not going to be an easy night.
I don't think that. I think it's going to be a war of ages. The fans are the ones who win out of this, but I know you, I know your soul on a deeper level, and I know myself, and I know you're not going to quit.
But here's the thing, Jake wasn't just talk, he trained hard away from the spotlight, away from the trolls and doubters. He wasn't just interested in showing up and getting paid, he was determined to prove everyone wrong. When he entered the ring, it was clear that this was not the same guy who had been acting for the cameras.
100%, and I have to stay active. I have to stay working towards my goal of becoming a world champion. So there needs to be 3 fights a year for me at least, and that's how I get better, is under the bright lights and performing when there's adrenaline and nerves.
It's not just a sporting event when Mike Tyson, who is almost 58 years old, steps into the ring. It's the stuff of legends. Most men his age are trading in their boxing gloves for golf clubs and bragging about how they used to bench press 200 pounds. But Tyson, who in his prime didn't want to beat his opponents, once declared he'd eat their hearts. And guess what?
Now, does a loss to Jake Paul damage your legacy?
I don't look at my life as a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the about my legacy? I'm gonna be dead soon one day, but he's not gonna win.
It's 2024, and Tyson could have easily looked at this fight and thought, now I'm good, and no one would have questioned it. Let's face it, most men his age are more concerned with controlling their cholesterol than they are with taking on a power-punching maniac like Jake Paul. Even as he approaches 60, that wild, unstoppable fire hasn't cooled down at all.
Round 5, and Jake's looking for the finish. He's hurt! On the ropes! Jake Paul pulling it on here! Analyzing big-time round for Jake Paul.
If you thought Tyson was there to take a few blows and cash a check, think again. From the first round, he turned back time in a way that left people rubbing their eyes in shock. But there he was, a 57-year-old living legend, entering at T Stadium as if it were the Roman Colosseum, ready to remind everyone why he was still referred to as the baddest man on the planet.
Unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, David Yakabuchi, scores about 97 to 92.
Well-known uppercuts that broke people's jaws and dreams in the 1980s have returned with a fury. When Tyson delivered a vicious left uppercut in the first round, Jake Paul's knees buckled and his hands flailed around as if he were swatting invisible flies. For a brief moment, it appeared as though Jake was going to take an unplanned nap on the canvas. Let's also talk about Tyson's footwork, which wasn't just good for a 58-year-old, but was good, period. The man hadn't fought at this level in years, and he was ducking and weaving like it was 1988. Joe Rogan, who was calling the fight, almost lost his voice. Jake Paul, who had entered the altercation with a swagger of confidence, suddenly appeared to be a young boy who had picked a quarrel with his father and was instantly regretting it. Tyson's strength, agility, and complete contempt for aging were all evident. It was an unadulterated classic. Tyson, and it was breathtaking.
Former undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
However, by round 3, Tyson's physical damage was irreversible, serving as a brutal reminder that even legends are fallible. This was no Hollywood comeback tale in which the hero remains unbeatable forever. Fans mockingly dubbed these the ulcer-inducing rounds on Twitter because it was difficult to watch a 57-year-old Mike Tyson persevere through every strained breath and stiff movement. But Tyson never once played the age card. He didn't complain or ask for sympathy. Instead, he could have thrown in the towel and the world would have applauded him for simply showing up, but that's not who he is. Tyson's fighting is about heart and defiance, about telling his father it was time for him to go hiking, and just when it seemed like his sheer willpower might still get him through, the fight took a turn so outrageous it could have been from a Hollywood script. Jake Paul, who was only a single uppercut away from calling it quits, suddenly received an inexplicable energy spike. Referee Steve Willis was on the verge of ending the battle when Jake was backed into a corner and barely managed to hold on as Tyson threw a flurry of blows. The audience stood up, ready for Tyson to finish the fight.
On the ropes! Jake Paul pouring it on here! Analyzing big-time round for Jake Paul. Big round, big round, big shot.
Jake Paul then suddenly landed a right hook that caused everyone in the stadium to gasp. It wasn't simply a counterattack, it was a devastating comeback punch that completely changed the course of the fight. Suddenly Tyson, who had been in complete control, found himself in difficulty. Social media naturally exploded as Jake, sensing blood in the water, went on the attack with a barrage of blows that resembled an enraged bee swarm. Within minutes, conspiracy theorists were analyzing every frame of the fight to show that Jake Paul was using steroids. They were locating old pictures and pointing out muscle definition as if it were part of a CSI investigation. But when the official test came back clear, it left everyone even more shocked because it turned out that Jake Paul's strength wasn't the result of a covert lab session, but rather of traditional training.
Migliore both score the bout 98 to 91, all three in favor of the winner, the problem child, Jake Paul!
Your winner! It turns out that Jake had been playing a brilliant psychological game. Experts started analyzing the fight and discovered that Jake had purposefully taken a beating early on to give Tyson a false sense of control. It was as if he was playing posem, waiting for the right moment to strike, letting Tyson exhaust himself, absorbing the punishment, and then jumping when the legend's energy waned. This was the kind of strategy that seemed ridiculous until it worked. So yes, the prankster turned boxer not only survived but outlasted one of the most dangerous fighters in history. The fight wasn't just a spectacle, it was a shocking, dramatic roller coaster that left everyone stunned, concluding that Jake Paul is here to stay, whether he like it or not.